Yes, it was a somewhat good move down in percentage terms. Let's take a look at that. There was a 5% change, but remember that gold miners move 5 times more. Sometimes this ETF can change by 5, 8, or even 10% in a single day. You need to ensure that you allow enough flexibility. So when one of those intense days comes that really changes things and cleanses the market, you stay steady and don't get scared off. Honestly, I thought we would drop from this level, but instead we closed above it, which confirmed our position. The retracement also held, as it should after confirmation, and now it's going up. If it ever breaks here, it would be a big red flag, but it hasn't happened yet. Silver. Do you all know what my goal price for silver has been? 48 a $50. I wouldn't be surprised if it reaches $50 early next week. Then I start to think it might be time for a setback after reaching a double top. That would be a technical double top pattern. In today's precious metals market, volatility is not seen as a weakness anymore. It's a sign of strength. Gold and silver are showing strong resistance even during short-term declines, as markets handle large price changes and moments of profit-taking that usually come before bigger increases. Traders are discovering that being patient and managing risks well helps them tell the difference between noise and signal. In this situation, pullbacks are not signals of danger. They're chances to rethink our position before the next increase. Both metals keep gaining strength, maintaining important technical levels even with changes in the wider market. Chris Vermeulen, Chief Market Strategist at the Technical Traders, and Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist of VerifiedInvesting.com, emphasize that traders need to adjust to the changing market conditions. Gold's steady rise toward $4,100 and silver's possible climb to the $48 to $50 range mean more than just price goals. They are signs of changing feelings in a world looking for stability. Their analysis highlights the need to understand time cycles, Fibonacci extensions, and psychological pivot points as the market moves from a stable state to faster growth. The main lesson is obvious. Flexibility and discipline are more important than predicting outcomes. As money moves and fear makes people seek real assets, it's important to understand these changes. Gold and silver are the main winners from the movement of money out of overpriced markets. Keep yourself updated, stay focused, and always recognize the importance of technical structure. Now, we share the clips from their interview. Before we keep talking about this, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell icon for updates. Thank you, and enjoy the video. Let's zoom in here. Gold has taken a break for 2 days, or we could say now 3 days. It seems to be getting ready to rise again and reach around 4,100. Silver had a good day today, with an increase of 3.4%. It reached some multi-year highs today. It has some ups and downs, which is what we've mentioned before. We noticed some periods of selling. Expect significant increases and decreases with efforts to create some disruption. We are entering times of high trading volume. You can clearly see it in the stock ETFs. The silver miners have a lot of activity, especially among the larger gold mining companies. Actually, it's not bigger, just much larger than usual, to be honest. Gold can separate from this. Pero aquí puedes ver que sí lo hizo. We saw gold prices drop after holding steady due to some market fears. It may want to separate itself, but it's important to pay attention to what the general market and the majority are doing. Are they all clicking the buy button? Are they all clicking the sell button? These show us important moments when things are either overbought or oversold. Managing risk means you need to allow for some flexibility, and you won't always be at the highest point. You're going to need to return some of the profits unless you choose the peak. The issue with choosing a peak time to sell is that you may sell too soon, and then the market continues to rise without you, leaving you behind. That's the situation because I know many roles and many of you too. That's just part of trading. It's fine to be left behind, especially if you reached a goal and secured your profits. It's not just about earning the most you can and missing out on some money. It's about you making the trade and sticking to your rules. If you get stopped out, that's a positive thing, because it shows you're sticking to the rules and safeguarding your account. Sometimes this means you may miss out on a small part of a larger movement. It feels bad, but it really shows that you are a committed and disciplined trader. You should give yourself credit if you got upset. It's about knowing how much space you can allow based on your trades. If it's a quick momentum trade, then maybe you set a tight stop. Normalmente uso algunos bajos destacados. I review the charts and focus on some clear low points as a reference level. Clearly, this is an important level. Este es un nivel bastante importante. You could say this appears to be an important level. No estoy seguro si se rompió tan bajo o no. It seems that it did, which might be why some of you were stopped out. But these types of multi-day lows, like a rounding shape, are usually more important stopping points, correct? The market can show these bull flags and spikes at different points. If you look at a longer time frame and focus on cycles, you can always add cycles to these charts. You might say, oh, there's a cycle. You can identify where these cycle lows are even though the color coding makes it hard to see them. If I changed all these colors to white and we just looked at these, you would see a middle of a cycle low here, another middle of a cycle low there, and this big spike which we could consider as the next support level. That was just about time cycles, correct? The market has some interesting time patterns. Parece que solo tuvo un mínimo. It might try to go up and then, I'm not sure how many days from now, maybe in 2 weeks, it could reach another low point in its cycle, but it could be at a much higher cost. Right? The price might keep increasing and could have a low point in this area. One of you mentioned that maybe you should use Fibonacci targets for your personal stocks. Y creo que eso es genial. Choose a stock, calculate your measured move, and then you'll find out where the target for growth is. You can also, like I did with the S&P 500, step up gradually by noticing when a new rally begins, reaches a peak, and then pulls back. You can use these important pullbacks as support levels. As I demonstrated on this cycle chart, you should choose a clear low point. This could be a sudden drop, known as a big washout low, or a multi-day reversal where the price fell, found support, and then started to rise again. The markets often play tricks. They might show smooth patterns, or they could suddenly jump up sharply. In any case, they are just different kinds of lows, and we saw that in the stock market. If we look back, there are times when we see very low points that stand out, and these can make traders very anxious. We had another big increase in reversals here, as well as at other times if we look back. Aquí es más como un fondo redondeado, ¿verdad? You need a strategy that can safeguard you from both situations. This means allowing for more flexibility and often looking at longer time frames on the charts to understand the cycles. You should identify when to expect important lows to base your decisions on. Gold and silver are maintaining important patterns that will determine their next major price direction. Gold's rise above the upper channel shows a new phase of increasing strength, with that level now serving as strong support. While the price stays above it, the chances increase for even higher peaks. Meanwhile, silver remains strong, hitting $48.37 and getting closer to the important $50 mark. This could lead to short-term price changes, but will likely strengthen its overall positive trend. In the wider markets, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ are showing early signs of tiredness, nearing long-term resistance levels that have been in place for several years. These wedge shapes, along with possible topping tails appearing on daily charts, indicate that a technical correction might be coming soon. If confirmed, this change could speed up the movement of money into physical assets, especially as semiconductor and tech companies show signs of tiredness. The volatility index also indicates growing tension, suggesting that the market may become more unstable. Momentum, probability, and discipline are key factors that define success in these cycles. The charts show the truth. They show where the money is being directed next. Regresemos a la entrevista. Gold has been confirmed above the parallel channel. What do we know? The parallel channel, now this upper line, is a key support level. Yesterday it went down, but today it bounced back up again. Ahora no alcanzó un nuevo récord histórico hoy. So let's remember that. If it drops below and stays below, then it supports going down. While it remains above this yellow line and doesn't drop below it, guess what? It has a positive outlook, y eso es solo probabilidad. No tiene que ver con cómo estoy posicionado. It's just that the charts show me that. Sometimes I think, hey guys, this chart just went up today, and I might have a short position related to that. Ese es mi problema. Voy a explicarles exactamente lo que dicen los gráficos. It's a game of chance, and things can change from day to day. They often change. Mi objetivo es solo escuchar. I will be wrong 20 to 30% of the time. I want to be correct 70 to 80% of the time. But when the charts change, I'm going to be honest with you. No beating around the bush. Es lo que es. Okay, so honestly, I thought we would drop down from this level, but instead, we closed above it, which confirmed the upward trend. The retrace held, as it should when it confirms, and now it's going up. If it breaks through this point, that would be a serious negative sign, but it hasn't done that yet. Silver, you all know my target price for silver has been between $48 and $50. Adivina qué? Today, we reached a new high for silver at $4,837. I wouldn't be shocked if it hits $50 early next week. Then I begin to think it's likely time for a pullback after reaching a double top. That would be a technical double top pattern. Today, regarding oil, we learned that we closed the gap yesterday. Did it receive a boost? Well, I'm not sure. It was earlier, but it is mostly flat. That's not a very good performance at gap. Fill here, that is not a positive indication for oil. Now listen, it could still go up on Monday or Tuesday. Overall, I still believe that the current oil chart is not looking good. No es un buen gráfico. Let's quickly look at natural gas or nat gas. In nat gas, you can see these lines showing trends. There's a high pivot here. Low pivots right here. X señala el lugar, al revés. I did provide that 360 level here. It went up a bit more to the next level, but notice, you saw the drop today. I'm still not trading in oil. I don't have any positions in nat gas at the moment. I'm being patient, but I definitely want to keep an eye on this. But wow, this market, everyone, let me tell you, was a bit dull at the beginning of the week. You might think, the government is closed. No vamos a recibir los datos sobre empleos. It will be just talk, talk, talk. Today, things suddenly got exciting. I was surprised and alert in the market this afternoon during trading. It was really interesting because usually the afternoons during the week have been empty, just drifting by, drifting by, drifting by. And then suddenly today, get ready and listen. Maybe there's nothing there. As I mentioned, there's always a certain chance involved. The markets don't pay attention to it. We will return to floating next week. We'll see. But there are definitely some signs here. Okay, I'm definitely watching some technical details. Vamos a mirar el SYP 500 aquí. The S&P 500 is very important, so pay attention to what is happening right now. You reach the top level. If you've been keeping up with my morning trading plans, you're familiar with this wedge pattern. For that, this wedge pattern started in October 2023, linking through the major correction in 2024 to the low point in early 2025. ¿Cierto? Now, this is where it gets interesting. We eventually touch the level here and then pull back, before checking the high today right at that line. Once we reach that point, we notice significant selling in the markets, almost reaching a dropping pattern. We not only reach the highest point, but we might also create a bearish reversal candle on the S&P 500. Vamos a ver dónde cierra en unos 3 minutos. Pero esto es grande, amigos. Ahora, no es solo esto. Also, check this out, everyone. The weekly chart for the Qs was attempting to go below this low from COVID. This is the COVID low on the NASDAQ 100, connecting right here. Every time it reached this point, it corrected by 15%, then fell by 26%. ¿Dónde estamos? We're doing well, but the QQQ is down again today, trying to move back from this level. ¿Qué tenemos? The NASDAQ and the S&P are at important points in the markets. The S&P might be showing a topping tail. There are 2.5 minutes left in the trading day. I'm observing it until the end because, from a technical analysis perspective, the topping tail is important. Look, the trend line on the S&P is really good. Eso es lo que sabíamos que iba a haber resistencia. But when you combine that with a topping tail, it becomes more important. There's more to it. Speaking of that, let's return to the S&P. ¿Es esto un topping tail? It definitely seems near. I need to take a measurement. Wow, we ended without any big changes on the S&P. S&P went up by 41 cents. Debo hacer una medición. It's very unclear if it meets the criteria for a topping tail or not. I will keep you all updated and find out. No quiero darte información incorrecta, así que no lo haré. I really need to do some math on this. But, wow, that's really impressive. If there's a topping tail that reaches this line, I think that by early to mid next week, we could drop to this level. That would be the 6th or 7th hit, which counts the time in this wedge pattern. Vamos a ver, chicos. Let's find out what occurs here. De acuerdo. Ok, regresando a las acciones que están bajando, tenemos a Netflix y a Meta. If you look at other companies, I'm talking about Broadcom. Broadcom has dropped from its peak earnings. Oracle, Mira a Oracle. Just keeps decreasing. I mean, there was a small increase a few days ago, but this thing is going down. This was the largest jump in earnings we have ever seen for a stock of this size. Nunca lo he visto en mi carrera. Nadie lo ha hecho porque fue algo nunca antes visto. However, this is something important to mention again. And see how it's just going down. What's the main point? What is causing the market to be slow? The answer is the semifinals. Where the trucks go, the markets follow. I heard that saying about 25 or 26 years ago when I began trading. And it remains true to this day. Let's take a look. We examined NVIDIA. Sabemos que NVIDIA está en resistencia. What is the SMH doing here? Mira esto. SMH was not working, but it's not a big issue. SMH dropped $1.51 today, which is less than 0.5%. There's really nothing special to mention about the percentages. But to me, is this an important trend? Bull market highs from 2021 to 2024. Después tuvimos la gran corrección. Check out what we just labeled. No sé. Once more, breadcrumbs, smoke, there's fire. You can use many comparisons. In my opinion, the market will reach a peak when there is complacency and the VIX. Now, I will share something that made me unhappy today. Got it, the VXX. Más encanta. Es un gran cuña descendente. It was really trying to escape today. I want to share this with you all. Now listen, it's not the VIX, but it's pretty similar. It's for us who trade ETFs. This is about as near as we can be. Mira esto, aquí tienes tu cuña. These wedges are very strong when they break out. The VXX should definitely go over 40 when it makes a breakout. ¿Fue esto un gran avance hoy? No lo sé. I mean, it's clearly visible. You could say that it closed just a bit above. Maybe my line is slightly off, right? As a technician who draws trend lines on a chart, I dislike it when things are very close together because it makes me worry about small mistakes. What if I drew the line here instead? When there's a clear rise above or drop below, it's obvious. Even if my trend lines aren't perfect, it still shows a clear breakout. The situation we see now in precious metals isn't just a temporary change. It's a change in the story. Momentum, structure, and macro alignment are coming together at the same time, creating a situation that benefits those who are already in a good position. Gold's strength keeps supporting the trend, while silver's struggle to rise above past resistance levels shows that there is still interest in buying, not a sign of giving up. When the next phase of growth starts, it will probably surprise even experienced traders with how fast and big it is. This phase requires clear thinking, patience, and strong belief. The technical details show that market changes are happening, even though the general story hasn't recognized it yet. That's why it's important to keep a close eye on these setups and stay updated, instead of just reacting. If you found this analysis useful, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your opinion in the comments. Your participation helps continue this conversation.